من عيسى قدموا للمرحلة جودي ما عاقهم عالمسير من الظما جودي مات الكرم بعدهم والعز والجود يا عيوني من عيسى قدموا للمرحلة جودي ما عاقهم عالمسير من الظما جودي مات الكرم بعدهم والعز.
At certain points in my life, being an ambitious girl was like the biggest crime I ever did. Like, you know, yeah, you have limits. You should get married at a certain age, and you should care for what the people say. You should not stay late outside, even if you are doing something important. If you're having an education or extra education curriculum or so, no, you should stick to the limits and, you know, respect your family. Unfortunately, in Egypt, it's a widespread concept, not only in rural areas or grassroots families, but in almost all the families, that the woman or the girl, the daughter, is the owner of the family. She's not, if she misbehaved, this means the whole family will be criticized for that.
The owner of the family or the other way around?
That's what they claim, the owner of the family or the one who threatens the owner of the family.
Yeah, we were sure about that. Yes, so at such a young age, what are the values available to you to kind of...
You know, it started very personal, like I'm fighting against some things that hurt me personally, but through the right channel, and instead of like, you know, rebelling against the people who did it, but try to solve it in a more peaceful way, if I can say. So I try to fix things as much as I can and protect other girls in the family from having the same surgery. And to some extent I succeeded. So when I went to university, the first thing I decided to do is to make a wider campaign that's targeting people in Cairo, you know, and I met other 4 students who were really brave, and they shared, we made this campaign together, and it was somehow successful, but we couldn't continue because we got busy with our studies, and we were so young without, you know, money or anything, just dreaming. A very important role in my life. It almost changed my whole life. It was like my window on the world.
So when did you start using the internet?
Immediately after I graduated, because I worked for Al Ahram newspaper for 2 years as a foreign reporter. Meaning that, you know, like monitoring what's happening in the world through the internet, because Al Ahram, you know, a governmental institution, you were not allowed to travel much or so. So monitoring what's happening in the world through the internet, following main news agencies, and trying to compile, you know, pieces of news through this. Actually, this helped me very much to see how the other world is thinking, especially regarding women's rights issues, which is here at that time was a big taboo. I'm speaking about 2002, you know, and actually it is still a taboo. But so that was how I was exposed to the other world, and I knew how the people are thinking there. Since then, I continue. Actually, I left Al Ahram 2 years later, because I found this job very boring, like, you know, just watching what's happening in the world without being part of it. So I moved to what I'm doing now, which is my career. I decided that the thing I love most, which is working with the grassroots people, working for the idea of human rights and promoting, educating people about human rights, is what I should be doing. So I moved to working at the civil society. I started in an organization that works on freedom of expression and freedom to use the internet, actually. At that time, I decided to be a blogger, to have a blog and to write about what I'm thinking. It helped me very much as well in bringing supporters to my cause, not only from Egypt, but from all over the world. Without having some editor behind me who's like changing what I'm writing or so. So since then I'm working in this field, and I think
as a woman, as a Muslim, you wanna prove. I'm sure you are broke all the stereotypes.
Yeah. I worked with the American Islamic Congress for almost 7 years until we finally had, not finally, we had to close our office in Egypt because we were persecuted as a foreign NGO working in Egypt, unfortunately. So I now moved to Ibn Khaldun Center. I'm working as the executive director here. So during the period I worked with the American Islamic Congress, it was really a great experience because we had a team of, or my colleagues, the whole staff are from all over the world. They are not from a certain place. Both believe in one thing. Everyone believe in the same thing, which is human rights and civil rights, and it allowed more creative or more. It allowed me actually to be more creative in what I'm doing. But my work was more focused. My work here in Egypt was more focused on educating people about human rights. So we had things like the Cairo Human Rights Film Festival, AB Human Rights, which was a project targeting young kids. Working with this identity in Egypt, like American Islamic Congress, you know,
Yeah.
the three words are very problematic.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it was a big challenge to break this stereotype as well in the minds of the people. Like, not everything coming from the West, not everything coming from America is a bad thing. And civil rights and human rights are global values. They are not for Americans only or for Europeans only, but for everyone. So this was one of the many challenges, and I think it was good to try to break this stereotype while working on educating people about their rights.
The strongest critics of women and women role were women themselves.
Look, the women rights problem in Egypt is not new. Or let's say the patriarchal mentality in Egypt is not new. It has been there for ages. And unfortunately, this patriarchal mentality is not adopted only by men, but also by women. And women are even more discriminated against women under the claims of respecting society and not appearing like a bad woman if she does not respect the society. In March, immediately after only 2 months after the revolution, we had this referendum on the constitution. And I used this opportunity to see how the people who are going to the voting stations to practice their democratic rights will think about women. So I ran a survey in 3 main areas. It was a random sample, but it showed me a lot, you know. We surveyed about 1,400 something people, including men and women. And we asked them one main question, which is, would you agree to see, or would you like to see the president of Egypt a woman? And the answer was 100% no. The reasons, 100%, men and women said no. And the reasons behind this no varied. Of course, everyone has their own justification, but all nonsense. Like, you know, women are for the kitchen. When they take care of their house first, they can run for politics or they can run for office. Politics is made for men, it's not made for women. You know, things like that. Unfortunately,
These are the same people, they just
they
hobbled
are the same
30
people
years.
who are standing in long lines in front of the voting polls, in voting stations, the same people who participated in the revolution, but still they don't believe that women has a place in democracy. They purposefully are marginalizing more than 50% of the Egyptian population and claiming that with only less than 50% we will have democracy. Of course, nonsense, you know. So this was the case. After the rise of Islamists, especially the Salafis, not only Ikhwan, but the Salafis who are the far right and the most extreme, the patriarchal mentality was even enhanced more and more by not the Islamic teaching, but because the Islamic teaching actually are supportive of women, but the teachings that those people are trying to export to our society from other neighboring countries, you know, who are more extreme. So I can say women now in Egypt are almost stuck between 2 big stones. patriarchal mentality on one side and Islamism on the other side, or extremism, if I can say, on the other side. But the good thing or the good news is that women are trying to push away those two stones by getting together, by unifying. Since the problems started after the parliament was formed in November, women started to get into unions, women groups started to get more organized into broader unions to support women's rights. And I think this is a good sign that finally women groups and women organizations don't see the relationship between each other as competitive but more complementary.
Interesting that the Egyptian revolution, those 18 days and before and after, and it's transforming the whole country. Everybody's talking politics now. And everybody's talking about Egypt. When I came a year ago, I mean, before the revolution, nobody was talking to each other.
No one cared.
No, nobody, everybody living, but you can see people are talking to each other. I know they disagree, whatever. Beside breaking the fear factor, what else happened to the woman?
Women became more encouraged to break the barriers of fear as well. The barriers of fear that is more related to them. For example, we've seen in the parliamentary elections a large number of women running for parliament, even individually, not only, or independently, not only on lists supported by political parties, but they decide to go there and run and try and see how the society will react. Although they did not win, but still they had the courage to do this, and this is something really respected. In politics, in social life, even women became more demanding of their rights. They realized that freedom is valuable and they should win it as much as, everything in the country is changing, women are changing as well.
How about the relationship with men, the relationship with their family, husband, and it seems it's not just politics now.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I think it's also getting more rebellious, but it will take a while to test this, to test how the character of the wife has changed inside her house. It would take some time. I think it's not easy to judge or evaluate it now.
Culture.
We have a project we are currently working on in Ibn Khaldun Center about the different systems of democratization in the world and which of these systems should be applied in Egypt. And comparing the case of Egypt to other countries that has gone through revolutions, especially non-violent revolutions, and trying to understand what is the best way to go on. The purpose of this, or the outcome of this project, is a guidebook that should be given to policymakers to help them do this. Also, we have another project about the constitution. And we are targeting we are targeting grassroots citizens to help them write their own constitution and participate in the process of writing the constitution. And later on we will be their voice in front of the committee that is responsible for writing the constitution and the parliament. On another level, we have a more broad project. It will not end now or this year, but it will take some time, which is about national reconciliation, trying to find the different groups in the countries that are fighting with each other now and reconcile them together, including, for example, civil society and the government. They should work together, not against each other. Police forces and the people, they should work together as well, not just be so aggressive against each other. We fixed only a piece of it, but the rest is not fixed yet. So that's why I believe that the revolution should continue, but not by going to Tahrir Square. This is not only the only way to fix things, but rather by going into politics, by being as brave as you were in Tahrir Square to run for office, to try to be a decision maker yourself. So this is we still have a long fight to go through. It will take years for sure.
Well, let's go back to you winning the most influential, one of the top 10 in the world.
Yeah.
And how does that affect your life? I mean, you know, is your brother still screaming at you? Did your dad tell you to go get the, you know?
Yeah.
How did it affect your life personally?
Well, I don't know. But first of all, it encouraged me to keep going on. I mean, to continue what I'm doing. And this is what I'm doing now. It gave me more confidence that I'm doing the right thing and I should be keeping it up. On another level, more personal level, no, I can't say it changed anything because my mom, for example, still sees me, this little girl whom she used to take to school and take back from school. So, but somehow I feel like she's proud of what I'm doing, although probably culturally she doesn't approve it or she doesn't like what I'm doing, but she's proud that I'm able to make changes, you know.
How does society look at a strong woman that is active and all that, and you know, our society here, they look at you?
Oh, okay. No, it's not. No, unfortunately, in most, well, among let's say civil society, yes, people respect this and people think this is something that's really great. But when you get out of this circle of the people who care for women's rights and human rights and so, it's so rare to find someone who's supportive of what you're doing, or even who cares for what you do. Okay, you were selected like one of the most fearless women. Okay, fine.
You make money?
But do you have children yet? Are you married yet? That's what they care for, you know. They don't care for what you have achieved on work level. They care for you know, for your stereotypical role as a woman. So this was the idea simply. So I, as someone who believes in women's rights and youth, and believes that we should have a role in the decision-making process, not only through pressuring decision makers, but being decision makers ourselves. This was one of my main goals, to run for parliament, although I was not sure that I was going to win, and I didn't win, unfortunately, but I wanted to try to see how the politics is from within, you know. It's good to be a civil society activist or a human rights activist, but when you decide to move from civil society to politics, it's something completely different.
So, future ambition or future inspiration, you run again?
To run again? No, I will not run unless there is a reason for running. For example, in the last parliament, I wanted to run. One of the main reasons was to participate in drafting the constitution as a member of parliament. I believe the constitution is our main and biggest fight. When we have a rule of law, everything will be fixed afterwards. But at the same time, probably in the future, there is something that would urge me as an activist, as a human rights activist, not as a politician, to run. You know, I'm not a politician. I don't consider myself a politician. I'm just an activist, and as long as any step, including running for parliament, will enhance or support what I'm doing as an activist, I will go for it. One day, hopefully in 10 years from now, people will consider the one running for presidency or so as a human, not a man or a woman.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for your time. It was lovely.
من عيسين قدموا للمرحلة جودي ما عاقهم عالمسير النض ما جودي مات الكرم بعدهم والعز والجود يا عيوني من عيسين قدموا للمرحلة جودي ما عاقهم عالمسير النض ما جودي مات الكرم بعدهم والعز والجود حكما على مين التذكر يا الطارش ومريابة حكما على مين التذكر يا الطارش ومر واشرب التعافي قديم جاسات حنظل عمر راهن وأواه ما أصعب فراق ومر جودي عليهم عيون